And yeah,
okay,
physical touch there.
I'm only seeing myself on the screen. I'm not sure why.
Oh really?
Yeah,
baby.
I can't see. Because I feel like I'm talking to myself. Which I don't mind, but you know.
Let me see. Hold on. Jackie, I don't see your camera. Let me remove the spotlight. Okay.
You're a professional though, Della, so you've done this before. So if you can't see yourself, then it's us.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a professional. I just wing my way through it. There you are. I see you now.
You can see us now, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I'll start now. Thank you everyone for joining. Just like to, Della, if you can introduce yourself, actually, your journey, who you are, where you're at right now as well in life.
Okay, so my name's Della, and I have a YouTube channel called Natural Ghana Girl. And basically, I speak about my journey from the UK, coming to Ghana, experiences that I've had, the good, the bad, everything, basically, everything in between that. I just like to share my experience because I feel like lots of people perhaps want to come to Ghana, but there are more people that are naysayers than tell positive experiences of being in Ghana. So I kind of just like to share my story so that people can be properly informed of what to expect if they want to move to Ghana.
Perfect. Actually, she has got a YouTube video out. Please put your questions in the chat if you have any questions for her. But so some of the questions or your responses might be repeated. I watch YouTube bloggers and they say, I've repeated this question so many times. So you might have to repeat it just because you have a different audience today.
Yeah, no problem.
Why haven't you moved back? So amidst all the trials, the good outweighs the bad, you'll say. Don't generalize. I don't want to hear the answer. But what's made you stay? So be specific.
Okay. The reason I haven't moved back is because just the whole atmosphere here, it's like you get to live life. I feel like I'm living life in Ghana. So although there are good days and bad days, just as you would have anywhere else, just being in Ghana, there's just something really refreshing. It's really hard to put into words, but there's something really refreshing. You still have problems, but it just feels like, you know, tomorrow's another day, like you almost start afresh. And so it doesn't feel like it's a burden. You just, I don't know, there's something about living life in Ghana. There's definitely a freedom here that's very difficult to put into words, for sure.
Someone else mentioned that, but what do you mean when there's people say freedom or just it's more fun? What does that actually mean? Because people think here or in the West or wherever they have a good nightlife, they have a good social life, but even in Ghana with new friends or a new set of social scene, you can't be using your taste card to go to ZZ's all the time. But what does that actually mean in everyday terms, in everyday life? How does that feel?
That sense of freedom, it's almost like it's not even necessarily financial. Because I feel like, well, it's partly financial, but it's not fully financial. So although you have maybe money issues, there are always things you can do. So you can go down the street and you can get a one city something to eat. You know, like every day can be different. So you're not stuck in like the rat race of having a routine every day. You know, you can do different things. You can mix it up a bit. And especially, I think, for those of us that are moving back to Ghana, I feel like, you know, we don't necessarily have jobs. We probably work for ourselves or have some type of business or something like that. And so there's a sense of freedom that comes with that, you know, every day can be different. And I also feel like the sun has a very huge impact on how you feel as well. It just makes you feel good within yourself. And so you feel healthy. You just feel good. You just feel good generally about life. And it's something that you can't replicate in the UK really, because although we have summer in the UK, you only get a couple of days. You know how good you feel in those days. It almost feels like you're on holiday, but it's like in Ghana every day it feels like that. And so it's just that feeling. It's very difficult to describe, but there's definitely that.
Thanks for that. Must say we have a few Americans on here as well, and their summer's real summer. It's not like the UK where it's wet half the time. So if you could tell us a bit about your journey, what made you and your husband decide to move to Ghana?
Okay, well, my husband was actually the one that wanted to come first because he was born in Ghana and then he moved to the UK when he was about 6 years old, something like that. But I was not born in Ghana. I was born in the UK and I used to come to Ghana like maybe every other year or something like that. So I had a bit of experience, a bit of knowledge of Ghana. But my husband in 2007, after we got married, we came as a big family thing, came to Ghana. And when he came, his eyes were just completely opened as to what Ghana had to offer. like he saw the potential straight away. Whereas I had a bit of a rocky road in my knowledge of Ghana. So I wasn't really too up for it because I kind of knew a little bit more because he came in holiday mode. And for me, growing up, coming here, it wasn't always that holiday mode. I didn't have that freedom. So I didn't really know Ghana in that respect. And so for me, I wasn't keen on going, but he was like, no, let's go to Ghana. Let's go to Ghana. And I was like, no way. There's nothing in Ghana apart from sand on the floor. You know, I was like one of those people, I was quite ignorant, really. So I was just like, I'm not going to go and move to Ghana. There's nothing there. I haven't even had my children here. You think I'm going to go give birth in Ghana? I very much had that attitude. And I don't mind saying it, I had that attitude. But then I think over time, just seeing like my children growing up, and I just wanted a little bit more for them. And then we came on holiday one year, and just seeing my children run around outside and the freedom that we had and all of that stuff, it was just almost like a no-brainer. And I was like, look, let's just do it. Let's just go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, we were okay in the UK, but you know, when you just have that feeling that you just know that there's something more. It was just having that feeling where I just know that there was something more. There's something we're supposed to do, and we just kind of had to go for it. And it was just doing it. It was just a matter of just doing it, you know. And that's what it boiled down to, really.
Bit of a personal question, but what did you, when you both went, what did you have? So, you know, some people say, I'm not going to go until I have a car, until I have a house, until I have a job. Mm-hmm. What were the standards that you had and that you still launched and said you're going to go to Ghana with?
We didn't have anything, to be honest with you. My mum was in the UK, my dad was in Ghana, and so he was like renting a house at the time. So he had like one room that was spare. We had just sold a property that we had. And we had another property where we were generating a little bit of income from each month. And we're just like, let's just go. Let's just do it. Let's just tell everyone. I mean, we wanted to come for a long time. We knew that. But we told everyone we were coming for a year just to make it easier, because some people would kind of put you off on your journey. And so we told everyone, oh, we're just coming for a year and then we'll see how it is and then we'll come back or whatever. But we knew what we wanted to do. And so we actually didn't have anything. We didn't have a car. We didn't have a place to stay. We didn't have anything. There was nothing here. I mean, we have family here, extended family, but apart from that, we didn't really have anything. We had nothing.
So how did you move around with your kids then?
Taxi.
Taxi.
We were spending quite a lot on taxi. We used to have to do this really long walk to the main roads, because where my dad was staying at the time was kind of like inside quite a residential area. And so it was quite difficult. So we used to do that long walk, and then we used to get a taxi to go wherever we wanted to go. But obviously taxi gets expensive. So we try and adjust and change our mindset from being on holiday to actually, you know, realizing that actually we're actually living here for good. So there was definitely a mindset shift that had to happen. It had to take place. That was quite difficult.
Another personal question, only because we've had a lot of returnees here, and I want to always touch upon different things, just as you always say, just to get the realities of it. If you could talk about a bit about your finances in the beginning, so people know that in the beginning, this is what it will feel like in regards to finances with a family. So people come, when you're single by yourself, it's easier, but when you have a family, you have kids, you want to take them to do certain things and you can't. What if you can just delve into how your personal experience has been with finances there in the beginning stages?
So finance has been like quite an up and down, a bit of an up and down hill for us, because when we first came, there was no information ahead of us. So we were literally just walking in the dark, trying to work things out. You know, we had our income that we were getting from rental properties, but we weren't spending a lot of money because things at the time were really quite expensive. So the lifestyle that we were used to, like spending stuff, buying crisps, buying yogurts, buying this and buying that all had to stop when we came to Ghana, because either it wasn't here or it was outside of our price range, basically. So we had to readjust and we'd start doing more of the local street food type stuff, that kind of thing. So that kind of helped us a bit. But I mean, my husband's in the background.
So
right?
I have to come in, man. Sorry, guys. Hi.
I had
to come in. Yeah. I'm just what you said is fantastic, and I think people need to understand that the time when we came, Ghana wasn't what we see now.
Yeah,
Ghana was not what you see now. It was, like you said, things like food, going around, Uber, that wasn't around. So we had to graft, but we knew. Well, I mean, like I said, my wife said that when we came here, we saw something, and we knew that, you know what, Africa is now, it's the future. If you don't put something in now, you're going to regret it. And you can see it's happening. And that's why I just kind of wanted to kind of jump in. So apologies.
It's been distracting me in the background.
You jumped already today.
It's been doing this.
I saw your video. He's always in the background. He said you speak fast. In one of the videos, he said you're talking too fast, but I didn't agree with him until now. You actually speak.
I'm always the exciting side. I'm always, it's a yin and yang. So Della kind of balances me out because I do get excited over something. The reason why I do is just...
I talk fast.
Oh, you talk fast? Oh, me? Oh, sorry.
No, in the video, you were like, oh, you're talking too fast. Yeah, like she talks fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so Della's talking fast. Okay.
I do.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of introduce. I said, because, you know, sometimes you ask a very good question, finance and all of that. We had a property that we rented outside of the UK. And when we came in, we were kind of using that to obviously live off and just doing our ins and outs. That's something we never had a car. We had to wait. We had to use a lot of walking, a lot of taxis. That was very expensive. And after that, we thought, no, let's just try and find a way that we can buy or purchase a car. So we went through expat pages, isn't it? And then from there, we ended up purchasing
a car. What's that? Sorry, what did you say you went through?
It's just through expat pages. You have like social media pages that you have people who are selling cars. They're not staying no more. They're leaving. And then you go out there and you can purchase cars that way from there as well for really good conditions. So that's what we ended up doing. And then from there, we ended up, like I said, getting a place for ourselves to rent. But anyway, it's not about me. I think these should kind of talk. I just wanted to just kind of the changes. Yeah, I know. I just want to say that this is changes.
We want the yin yang. We want the yin yang.
Yeah.
It's a yin yang thing, isn't it?
That's what it is. Yeah. But
no, now you have to stay.
Yeah, what's that?
Because you're going to be in the background anyway doing stuff, so you might as well stay. I can imagine you.
No, it's not like that. What I'm just trying to say is that Ghana, what you see now, and Africa that you see now, especially in the social media or the like, is not what it was. How can I say 6 years ago? It wasn't like that. And you know the funny thing about it was interesting. There's only now a move or some sort of echo for people to actually get interested in Africa. Before, people didn't like it because there was that aspect of, hey, if I go there, healthcare, if I go there, schooling, if I go there, transport, the infrastructure is not right, gutters are open, all these there's so much things, you know, and it's like, if you're not careful, it can put you off. But the key about it is, we need to understand this, Africa is our home. Africa is for us. And the only way we can do it is by developing. We are developers, you know that. All of us who are listening to the page, who are like-minded, we're all developers, developing Africa. No one else can develop Africa better than the indigenous people who are in Africa, and that is us. We've just been spread all over the world, and we need to come back. That's my thought on it. So, you know, people are thinking, I'm scared. Oh, if I go there, what's going to happen? If I do this, well, it's not about that. Just have a goal in mind and set it out as that plan. That's what I thought to say anyway.
I think what I've learned from both of you is you had a cushion as such. Although you went with little there, you still had something to fall back on here at least. So that's something
you have to, for sure.
So that's why sometimes people don't tell the full picture of, you know, like you said, if we only heard your part of, oh, we went with nothing, people think, wow, they said with nothing and they had kids. But it's good to know that you had something beforehand as well. Absolutely. You two seem like grafters. But who had to curb their spending? I know I'm talking a lot about finances, but money is quite a key thing, especially in relationships as well. It can break.
Correct.
It can break.
Della is the king. Della is the king for that, or the queen. Sorry, I wouldn't say king. Queen. Della is the queen for that one because she knows how to budget. I'm a kind of person like, if it's cool and we need it, this is the one that we just go for it. But she kind of balances me out. That's why I say it's yin and yang because I'll go to a different extreme. Oh, but we need this. Just go for once in a while. Doesn't matter. But Della says, no, look, we're trying to, you know, budget. So she's very good at the budgets inside. That's for that one. Hey, hats off to her. Number one.
Okay, and then also you've obviously been okay with that as well, which is good as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why not? Because you know, I believe that, you know, if we're a team. So if I'm weak at something, she's always going to be there to strengthen me out in that part of my weakness. So I feel that it's a balance. It's a very good balance. You have to have.
I'm going to talk about
you're going as a team.
Yeah, you're going as a team. Yeah, and that's, I think people have to remember that, especially if one, like you're doing it together, but people have different goals and dreams at different times as well. But talking about you mentioned about, you know, people have. There was something you mentioned about paying people, I'm just gonna actually go to somewhere else, but
yeah.
Hear me out. You mentioned something about paying your staff, and it really was important that I want to repeat. She said that if you pay your staff too much, if you then leave them, if they leave you, you've set a high expectation whereby they can't meet it anywhere else. You gave an example, if you pay your driver 1,000 Ghana cedis, which a lot of expats do because they want to, the feel-good factor of, I want to be nice and give them that extra, but you're actually doing them a disservice sometimes. You think you're buying loyalty, but you're actually not, which is what I've actually learned from these talks. And you're not buying loyalty. And then also you do them a disservice when they move away. Their taste buds have changed.
You know what it is? Yeah. People think loyalty is to do with money. Loyalty is character. Whether you've got £1 million you want to give to a person, if the person wants to steal from you, he will steal from you. It's like something to do with your character. So I feel that sometimes when expats give too much than what the area is meant to be taking, an environment or an atmosphere is meant to be taking, you end up changing the environment. So what they've done is they've changed the lifestyle and the taste of, if you're paying someone who's meant to be paid like 500 Ghana cedis, and then now you've upped it to 1,005, now their lifestyle, their change, everything changes. And that's what you do. You cause that effect. And that obviously impacts everywhere else as well. But I don't know, babes, what do you think? I'm just talking my opinion on my side.
You're doing great.
Yeah, that's what I think personally. So it's you always got to give what the area needs or the environment needs. Don't try and give it more than what, because what they say is, if you give a child a candy, you spoil them. I'm not trying to say they're baby. I'm not trying to say, don't take me wrong for that. I'm just trying to say you've got to give according to what the area demands. Don't just overgive because you're calculating your money and you're thinking, if I give them this small in my currency, or let me just up it. But it's not like that. In their currency, it might be a lot of money. It's a lot of money that you're giving them, and that could almost overwhelm them. And that's where we are obviously cautious and a bit, checking out on it, basically. Yeah. I hope it answers the question.
That was very important for me. But you mentioned, you've got to be a grafter, and it's you mentioned, and it's because you think 1,000 Ghana cedis or 500 Ghana cedis is not a lot, but it's not a lot because they've got 5 other streams of income, and that's how Ghana and developing countries work. So when you came, how have you grown entrepreneur-wise, and what skills have you learned in the way? What can you teach us? What tips can you give us that we can avoid or adapt? Both of you. Ladies first, Della, you go first.
Let's start with this. Okay. I've always been a grafter from the UK anyway. So my background has always been, I started off as a labourer. Then I went into bricklaying, plastering. From plastering, then I moved into site managerial, positions. And then from there, it just went. And I thought that there was a silver ceiling that I couldn't go anymore. There's a glass ceiling, not silver ceiling. A glass ceiling that I couldn't go any further. So I thought, no, why can't I just come home and use them same skills as a place where it's developing? Because it's developing. UK, the West is developed. So there's so much people doing exactly the same thing what you're trying to do. But in Africa, it's not like that. It's a develop. So if you find your niche, keep to it. And that's what makes you entrepreneur, because you found a market where, you can put yourself in, and then you can end up servicing and helping people to develop an area. And that's why I thought that, look, why don't I go into building? Okay, that's my boy Jaden. But D can answer the rest. I'm going to look after the boy. He's coming.
Everyone's life, I can see Della doing I've got my finger on mute at every given moment. So the question to you, how have you developed entrepreneur-wise, and what skills, what advice can you give us that we can avoid or implement in our skill set?
Okay. I think for me, before coming to Ghana, I wouldn't have ever called myself any type of entrepreneur. I definitely wouldn't have said that. Literally, when I was in the UK, I wasn't working at all, because obviously I was going through that period of, having given birth, and so I was raising my children. But I never would have thought that I was an entrepreneur. But having come to Ghana, and I think some of the trials and the tribulations that we went through kind of pushed us to become entrepreneurs and to think outside the box. Because I feel like in the UK, you're very much programmed to, after you finish school, you go to university, you get a job, and this is the way to do it. Whereas Ghana's not like that. Ghana doesn't have just one path. It's like it has many branches, And so when you're here, you're forced to think of other things that you can do to make money, and you see things and you're like, why hasn't someone done this? You see problems and you want to make the solution. So you're like, why hasn't someone done this? And then you can be the one to just kind of do it. So I think that kind of has pushed me. And also doing the YouTube, that was just birthed from my frustration. So I didn't start YouTube to, you know, like, oh, because I wanted money or because I wanted anything like that. It was literally, it was about me just having a rant as to, I don't understand kind of like what's going on here, how the system works and all of that. And it kind of went from there. But I think for those that are coming, you kind of have to be quite open-minded, and you have to be prepared to work. Don't come with your holiday mindset and just think, oh, this is only this is only this. You have to be focused. So for me, I find it quite difficult to focus on more than one thing. So if I'm working, then I'm working. I'm not, it doesn't even enter my mind to think, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to party or anything like that. I'm like, I've got quite tunnel vision. And I think sometimes you need that, especially here, because it's quite easy to get distracted and to think, oh, but this person's on the beach and they're having fun and they're doing that. But you have to keep a clear head, and it's really important if you want to succeed.
Thank you. I'm going to go into more detailed questions now.
Okay.
Tell me about your worst day. I want to know people's like lowest moments, just so we know how you've picked yourself up, and moments that you've cried and you felt like giving up in the terrain that you're in now.
Oh gosh, I've had quite a few of those actually. But I think for me, the worst day was the day that we got robbed. That for me was a really emotional day, because at the time I was pregnant, and I just didn't, I mean, you hear people getting robbed, but you don't actually think that it would happen to you, because at the time we were in a gated community. And so you just wouldn't have thought it, you know, and just waking up. I just remember waking up that morning and realizing, and Kwame comes to tell me someone broke into the house and like our stuff is gone. It was just too much for me to handle. All I wanted to do was just leave. I just wanted to get out. I just wanted to go, because it was just so heartbreaking for me. You know, they took the hard drive that had all my children's baby pictures, all their videos from when I was in the hospital, all of that. And I was just like, why would someone do this? And for me at that point, I was like, I've never been robbed in the UK. At that point, if someone had said to me, oh, I've got a ticket for you to go back, I would have considered it. I really would have. But then obviously I had a lot of hormones because I was pregnant as well. But that for me was definitely a very, very low day. I honestly, I didn't want to speak to anybody after that. It was really, really difficult time for me. Yeah, that was really hard, definitely.
I'm so sorry about that experience. If we can touch upon that, because I think that's one of my worst experiences, not experiences, but fears in terms of being robbed. And is it the gate man? Who did you trust too much?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you not paying the gate man well enough that he wants to rob you? Were you rude to him? Is that what happened? So what did you do afterwards to overcome those things? I would probably move back as well.
Yeah. There wasn't anything specific that we did to get over it. It was just like a matter of time. And I think also because at the time we were actually planning to move anyway, so that kind of helped me just think, okay, I just need to get out of this house just so I can just get rid of that kind of memory.
We had 1 month of rent still left. She just wanted out, and I can understand that, because at the end of the day, it's like you felt violated. Someone's coming to your house, and then so
I think the scary thing at the time as well is because I think it was actually my daughter that scared them off, because I think it was around 2 o'clock in the morning. My daughter came out and she was like, Mom, I want some water. So she had probably disturbed them, and that's why they left, because they had actually taken our car keys and they had dumped it on the ground outside. So obviously they wanted to steal the car and everything. But I think they were disturbed, so they didn't have time to do what they wanted to do.
Thank God.
So that was really frightening. Yeah, it was really, really frightening. But we definitely learned from that as well. So, I mean, people commented at the time on the video and said, oh, but how can you sleep with your windows open? But we were in an estate, a gated estate, you know, and you have bars on the windows.
That's their selling point, the fact that it's trustworthy.
Do you see? And it's not. For me, I felt like being outside of an estate is actually safer than actually being inside one, because your guard is down. And I think people tend to target estates more because they feel like there's more affluent people inside. And so people go for those. But for me, I'm just like, I prefer to just live in a single house somewhere and know I've got control of my own security, because you just can't trust anyone, you know. If you're going to get security, get a dog. It's better.
on
So that's what I was going to ask you. One, how did you build your trust back again? And two, what do you do now to know that you're secure in your own home to the best of your ability?
So I think, what did we do? I think it was definitely mainly a mind over matter thing. But I think for a while I was still on edge. So I'm generally quite a light sleeper anyway. So any little noise, I would kind of wake up and I would get up and I would go and check. And I especially check on the children's room as well. We just make sure that obviously the bars are safe. We always check our windows to make sure that the screws are into the bars, because I think that's how they also broke in. I think what they did it over time, they literally, because the burglar bars were actually done with the screws. You know, you can either put them into the wall, have them cemented, or you can screw them. And I think over time they were like gently loosening them. So every now and again I go around and I make sure that the burglar bars are actually screwed in tightly to make sure that's okay. And then obviously we have an alarm on our house as well. You know, there are things that you can do. You know, you get yourself a really good gate, make sure you have the electric wires and all of that stuff, and you're pretty much good. And also, if you have other people in the neighborhood that you've built a relationship with, you kind of look out for each other too. You know, so that all helps.
And I think adding on to what Bella was saying as well, is that I think that whenever you're going to any, like I said, I think robberies can happen anywhere. And you've got two types of robbers. You've got the petty thief, or the ones with the guns, you know. And normally
scare everybody.
No, I'm just being real.
No, that's why I went into it, because it's the reality, and that's some people's biggest fear.
I'm really trying to be real. So you've got two kind of robberies. So you've got the petty thieves what come in, and then you've got the armed robbery. Now the armed robbery ones is very rare. That one tends to happen if there's a tip off, like you said, a security guard, you didn't pay well, or they've given access to the place. And that's why, you know, like my wife was saying, that we actually end up putting in provisions, as in, if you can't get a security guard, get a dog. If you can't get a good alarm system where it's connected to agencies, where if it sounds off, they automatically come. And also your area as well, where you're living. I mean, if you're living in a far remote place, inside a jungle or a village or a bush somewhere, and there's no roads and no infrastructure, and you're there, and your house is almost like the diamond in the rough shining up there. When they're coming to plan, they're going to plan with nobody coming to help you. So if you've got, like I said, neighbors that are around, that you're communicating, you're talking to, and it's a built-up area, they're hardly likely to come and rob you just like that. And, you know, like I said, we was in a gated community. So what happened was we kind of let our guards down. And especially within the kitchen area, where the kitchen area was predominantly hot, and we were using fan, and, you know, we thought, okay, let's just open it for ventilation. And I kind of got comfortable just leaving it, because I'm in an estate. I mean, we've got security, the dogs around, everything's protected. And like I said, one time we were there after, it was like December time, was it Christmas? Is that Christmas? That's a good answer. Christmas period is the ones when they tend to do all that kind of weird hunting around for people to rob. That's what they do. So we didn't kind of know that. And to be honest, and what we left our bedroom window open, and someone telling us that sometimes they blow some sort of powder, and that powder will end up putting you into a deep sleep, you know. And then, like I said, over time, as we pop out, we left the kitchen window open. They came in, taking out the bolts little by little. We didn't really notice. I didn't ever look at it, because, like I said, we were in a gated community, so we didn't think, you know, anything can happen within a gated community. And from there, that was it. They came in one day, came from the kitchen, started taking stuff little by little. And then obviously by the time we woke up, it was like I said, thank God our daughter woke us up, because she wanted water. And I think the minute they heard that, they kind of, I think there's kind of scalpeled and then went. But when we woke up the next day, we felt very drowsy, isn't it? Sometimes we felt very, very tired. I think, this is very strange. So these are one of the things that, you know, we put it out there for, so people can know what the realities are. You know, you're living in a country where, like I said, is a developing country. So with a developing country, you're bound to have issues. You're bound to have any problem. It's not like everything is just straightforward, you know. So you're bound to have these. But if you look over that and you make precautions for them kind of problems, you end up, you know, basically sailing through.
There's more good than there's bad.
Yeah, there is more good than bad. Yeah. If it wasn't, we would have been gone a long time ago. Yeah.
I suppose. I'm going to ask you a question now, in terms of obviously being a man, still patriarchal in some sense. What's been
some sense?
the lowest?
Why is it some sense? I hope it is.
No. Oh, just because it's a very audience,
Okay,
so I don't want to disturb the feminists out here. But in terms of what's the lowest moment for you, particularly, I'm focused a lot on finances because if I'm looking for a job, I've got a child. The main thing I think of is, will this job allow me to provide for her in so many ways? If I'm moving to a certain place, providing is the main thing for me. So obviously, being a man, it must be a lot more as well. What's been the lowest moment for you? What's broken you during your journey in?
Okay, that's a good question actually. I think what really broke me was coming to the bit where I kind of got very excited of Africa, and I thought when I came here, trust. I'll say that's what it is. I really trusted a lot of people who I felt to myself that they'll be there to back you, help you, encourage you. And you don't tend to get that. I think one thing I find that in Ghana here, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know and your affiliations. And if you don't have that, there is that little struggle. No matter how much you could be qualified, you've got the certificates, you've got the diploma, you're going, it's very hard. Unless someone opens that door for you, it's very difficult. So when I first came, I actually ended up working underneath somebody for a low pay and just trying to understand how Ghana works within my context of my work. And that's what I ended up using and learning from there. And then from there, I just ended up seeing if there was opportunity. And I noticed that there was opportunities that people were not building correctly. So that was my niche. And on the basis of that, I ended up putting a lot of my time and my energy into it and my finance, and some of it got burnt. But like I said, I mean, we've recovered on certain parts, and we're just learning from what's happened. And I think what's really had a big turnaround for us here is some people might see it as a negative, but we kind of saw it as a positive, also a negative, the coronavirus, because the whole thing kind of spun around. And especially when our president announced that year of return and an Africa without aid, and that was just powerful. And obviously, I know with the issues that everybody's having in America at the moment and Europe, it's just kind of opened that, look, I just feel that it was just time for everybody to start navigating back. And I feel that that's where really lifted me up, because my lows were, damn, we're running out of money. I think we need to go back. Because then we need to go back because the finances are just not working. I've invested in this. It's not come through. It's not fruitioned yet. And like I said, I think Corona, for us, I think personally, just became like a blessing from us, I feel personally.
Yeah, it's helped a lot of people.
Yeah. So
you mentioned trust.
No,
anything you say will answer people's questions. It'll hit someone somewhere. You mentioned trust, and I was speaking to a lady, and she was like, "Oh, she couldn't rely on her alumni, her secondary school networks." And some people are like, "Oh yeah, I went to this place, and this, because I went to this school, they helped me, they hooked me up." Some people have it, and it didn't work. Some people don't even have it in the first place. And just touch upon what you mean by trust, and so we can understand a bit more of.
Okay, I feel that sometimes when you do come here, you tend to rely on extended family, just to help, and you tend to rely on family as well just to help. And sometimes they can only help so much because some of them are also coming from outside. But you feel that the ones who are actually here, I don't want to put it in a way that it offends anybody. That's why I'm very careful now. What I'm trying to say is, like, they want to help, but they know that there's something in it for them. And if it's not in it for them, it's quite hard to kind of, and that's why I feel that sometimes it's just trying to find the correct balance in trying to see that are people really there to help you so that you succeed, so that we all succeed together? Or is it just you're only in it for yourself, and once you get what you get out of it, bye-bye, and that's what you're trying to find about. And you find it, like I said, it's not everybody. I've had many experiences where you hear family, not even family, I mean clients that I have, they said that they've given their money to people like relatives to build, and what they expected is not what they got. And you hear experiences like when they give them this, they ended up using the money for such and such. And these are the things, and I feel that that was a bit of the trust issues, I can say, to be honest, without going into much detail. That's what I really feel. It's just that loyalty. You hit the nail on the head. Loyalty.
Yeah. Don't worry. We're not going to let your aunties be listening and then come for you tomorrow. This is what he said.
Yes.
Family WhatsApp.
Got my aunties, but still,
yeah. Moving on now to building. Some of us obviously are here, so and our parents' experiences are different from our experiences, and there's new things that have been developed. And if you tell your parents, "Oh, I'm doing this," they'll be more skeptical about it. But it's a risk that can go wrong. But what would you advise us about risk that if you put forward to your parents and say, "Hey, make sure you do ABCD, the whole alphabet before you leap forward," and by the time you've listened to all the checklist, the deal's gone, you know? What would you advise to that in your own personal experience?
I feel that the old, the new, and the future. So what I'm trying to say is we listen to them and take advice, because they're there for advice, because they've had a journey, they've gone through something themselves, and they're trying to give us their experience of their journey. And sometimes you take some of those on board and then you work with that. And I feel that with working with that, it helps you a lot, especially like you said, with building. I mean, the reasons why I'm saying that is because I saw my dad put in so much. It's so much that we ended up not having as such, especially in the UK, because he was thinking of the dream of Ghana, Africa. I want to go back to Ghana, and giving it to family members, and to find out that he actually got let down. I mean, he wanted to start a bus company in Ghana, and there was so much issues what came with it, and it never worked because there wasn't people really there to support him, and that's what I'm trying to say. So when you hear them kind of things, you feel to yourself, okay, fine, this is his experience, let me take it, but also put a pin on it so that I know that if anything like that comes about, I know how to handle it and how do I get over it. And that's what I feel, because one thing we do not want to come to Africa to think that everything is all guns and roses, or it's just fantastic, or smelling of roses. It's not. It takes hard work, and it's the question of finding the right people to encourage you, to push you, to urge you along, just to try and achieve your goal. And that's what it is. And that's why, like I said, my wife, lovingly, she does the YouTube videos just to show people, look, just the realities of Africa. And you do get backlash. You get haters. You get lovers. The ones who love you more. The ones who hate you more. But it's all part of it. And I feel that that's part of the journey. So before you take the journey, you've counted all the costs. So that's the same thing. Like I said, with the building, the same thing. Before you build, you count all the costs. Some people will ask me, how much is it to build, Kwame? And I said, no, you can't just say how much is to build. I always say to them, how long is a piece of string? It depends. So it's the process that you go through, and understanding that there is a process. There's a right way of doing it and there's a wrong way. And in Ghana, you have that. In UK, we don't have that because we have laws that kind of counter-react if we're trying to do things wrong. You see, in Ghana, it's not, and that's where people say that it's so free, because it's so free to do really what you want, if you want to do good or to do bad. There is that avenue, and let's not try and say that it's not so like that, and it is. So that's where I'm trying to say that in the aspects of what you're trying to achieve or look at what people are advising you, if they be old, if they be young, if they be in the now of Africa and what they see now. Let them tell you that. Let them show you what it's really about. We're not going to tell you, oh, come guys, it's fantastic. This place is made of milk and honey, gold everywhere. You can come. Just no. You've got to give the reality, because if you're not, you won't be true to yourself and you won't be true to the people who are following you. So that's it really.
I want to touch upon the Kaswa,
yes,
the Kaswa properties estates. A few of us have bought quite a considerable number of acres as well. So let us know. So for some of us that are on the call that have purchased as well, we're neighbors. Touch upon that for us if you can. Your journey, your experience, what your expectations for it as well.
Okay. The Kaswa property, personally for myself, I feel that it's a company that's been around for a while. Everything that I'm saying that obviously people need to also do their checks. I'm not saying that because of what I've said, just take it like that, because you have positive comments, negative comments. It's hard for you to siphon it and look what is actually happening in the Kaswa vision. I think what it is there is a lot of outside people who are buying like us from the UK, Europe, America. And it's just for us to kind of say, what are we going to build there? What is our canvas? They've given us a blank slate. So it's how we kind of design, how we kind of develop, how we set the environment. I always say that anywhere could be a New York, anywhere could be a London, anywhere could be a Paris. You know, it just depends on the people. Are they thinking like you? Because if they're not thinking like you, that's why it causes a problem. That's why when I went there, I told them that, look, this is what the people who want to join in this want. Can you provide that? And they say, yes, they can provide that. So it's like they want to be in a certain environment. They don't want people who are not like-minded in that same area. Because if you're saying, for instance, let's do the road, and some people say, oh, I don't want to do the road. You do the road and we name the road after you. But you might not have all the finances. And you know that where there's unity, there's power. Where there's power, you can negotiate better. And that's why I feel that with the Cass estate, I feel that there is a potential, and it's just people to do their due diligence. And once you get it and you're on the ground, it's how people can network, come together and set up a whole environment. You know, you can easily do a Wakanda. If I could, I know people are with the Black Panther movement. You can easily do a Wakanda if you want to. You know, it just takes the people who are, you know,
we're gonna
have lawyers.
I'm gonna plug ourselves. We've actually that was our aim as well. So we bought almost 50 acres together as a group, and that's for us to do the same thing, to build the community. As you said, you can create a mini bougie, not bougie, but you know, to the standard.
Whatever you want, paradise. Of course.
Yeah. So we've done that. So that's
fantastic.
We're raising the bar in Casa Estates.
And you know the funny thing about when you change an environment like that, now you can actually go to government and they will listen, because you're having affluent people around there. You're having lawyers, accountants, builders, engineers, people who deal with care, so much different things. You know, it's a pool. It's a pool in a pot of so much ingredients that you can put inside to make a delicious meal, if I can say it that way. You know, just making it like a small parable.
I'm gonna invite Tommy as well. He wants to chip in because he's the one that initiated it as well. He's actually
fantastic.
The one.
Yeah, so I wanted to come in with regards to the Kaswa conversation, because that's where is my most interest. Exactly, and I think it really, you know, makes me happy hearing what you're saying, because that's the same idea that I had when I first heard about the Kaswa estate. Yes, it was difficult to try and get people on board. Eventually, we got it. I think there's about 26 of us that have purchased 48 acres.
Oh, fantastic.
So we've all come together, and this is literally from the group itself. And bearing in mind, about 90% of us don't know each other. We've never met each other, you know. So it's a good thing that I mean, just hearing you say that really just makes my heart melt. Literally.
Then you know what you know what I want you to do? I want you to tell me where you guys are located, so we're joining right next to you, because that's what I feel, that like I said, there's a few people as well that bought. And I feel that there are more of us inside that cluster. I think we have more power.
Absolutely.
To do so much. And I feel that that's fantastic.
We even have a name for our community.
Wow.
We have a name for our community.
Oh, let it flow, man. Let it flow.
Should I say it, Jackie?
Launch it.
So our community is going to be called Sankofa Heights.
Wow.
I like that.
That's fantastic. That's lovely.
Sankofa Heights. So there are people that want to build houses, some people want to build flats, etc., whatever. So
fantastic.
It's amazing. But I think we'll talk. You know, when two Kwamis meet together, it's explosive.
For good or for bad.
Okay, let me jump out.
Thank you for that. We'll hit you up privately with regards to
cool.
Mini Wakanda and Sankofa Heights.
That'll be good.
I want to talk about social aspects, and I think that's what people suffer with as well. In terms of making friends, you two seem like a bubbly bunch. Because sometimes, obviously, it's hard when you're a couple. One is bubbly, he found his friends, and then a lot of times the females don't find their friends, and they're like the tag along to the guy. Not that was your intention. It probably wasn't a +1 always in London or America, but then you come and like, hey, where are you going tonight? Let me come with you. what would you advise for people where it sounds cheesy, but where do you make friends? People will always say church and those things, but sometimes putting yourself out as an adult, someone mentioned to me younger, uni is the last place you make your real friends, you know, and obviously maybe it's because of that age, the pivotal age. So after your 20s, there's more acquaintances, more business partners, and very few that you say that you found extra friends in your late 30s, you know. So how has that experience been, and what can you advise for people that are coming and haven't really measured that aspect of the social life?
I think the word you just said is very interesting, because you said friends. When you look at the word friends, is a time period, isn't it? So you end up meeting associates or acquaintances, and then from there it kind of evolves and changes to friendships. It depends, and it's like you said, it's time. It's like at the moment what we're doing here, we're all acquaintances and associates of this kind of thing, because we're sharing the same like-minded kind of thing. So over time you end up becoming friends, and that's what it is. Friendship is a time building process. You cannot just say someone, I see you, I want to be friends. It doesn't work like that. It's over time, and I feel that certain environments. Oh, she's coming back. Are you okay? Oh, Jaden, sorry.
The floor is yours.
I feel that only time will tell. You make friends more in the workplace than you make it in. If like, for instance, I have more friends, or people know about me more in my workplace than my wife if I come to the house and we're talking, because that one there, me and her, we're friends already, and we know each other, we're married, all that kind of. But you still have people outside that when you're working with them, you kind of jam, you talk, because you're with them most of the time. And I feel that, and I feel that Ghana it's a bit different, because like you said, it's that kind of pool of, did you go to the same school as me? Do you know such and such? And I feel that because of that, it's actually hard for you to kind of jump in unless someone opens the door for you to kind of jump in. And that's why I feel that what you've just started here with the gentleman Kwame and his vision, you're building a community. And I feel that, look, you got so many people on the page, and that alone is a room for friendship. You know, people reaching out, and sooner or later you find out, okay, are these people for me? Are they against me? Are they enemy of progress? Are they there to lift me up, to encourage me? And that's how you just, it's discernment. You can discern if, is this person really for me, or is it just because of this? And that's how I feel that you build friends. So the social gatherings, like you said, you can go to church, you can go to bars, you can go to restaurants, you can go to themes that may come up in Ghana. And with Ghana, the fantastic thing about Ghana, there's a lot of holidays. They have a lot of holidays here. There's a lot of holiday for this. There's a holiday for that. There's a farmer's holiday. There's a Founders Day holiday. Everything is a holiday. You see, so when you're seeing that, when you go to these events, you may bump into someone that you may automatically click. Some you don't, and I feel that friendship is a journey, and like you said, while you're growing on that journey, and what they experience and what you've gone through, and they're there to encourage you and help you. That's what builds your friendship. And so, with that social scene, it depends. Like you said, everybody's on a different journey, a different age group. People have different tastes. One may like jazz, one may like hip hop, one like R&B. And it depends. How do you synergize? How do you work along together to build that friendship? So at the moment, I always see people as acquaintances and not as friends as such yet. It takes time. It really takes time.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have much friends. We have more friends outside than inside, if I can put it that way, to be honest. More friends outside, like UK, a few friends in America, but more, because we're coming from the UK, we have more friends outside of the UK who we tend to talk with a lot. Like you said, we've got one-to-one connections with Zoom or WhatsApp messengers and all that kind of. So we're always in contact with them that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's not. Oh, okay. Since you're here.
Yeah. Decent.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
While she's settling, I'm gonna ask you the same question. But while you're settling, how do you, Kwame? How do you? Della would ask you that same question after. But how do you? Oftentimes, with being an entrepreneur, it's business deals, it's the charm, it's the rapport you build with people. How do you both, being married or whatever, have that? Like in the UK and the West, it's very much, if you look like you're flirting, it's seen as negative, But then Ghana, it's that there's a fine line between is he does he like me? Is he giving me the deal because he likes me or whatever? Or with the females, do I have to overly exaggerate that I'm being borderline flirty with it? Whereas in the West, because of the whole Me Too movement and harassment suits and stuff, it's very undefined that, you know, we're not going to go out for a business lunch. We're not going to go out for lunch. But also it's because we don't have our own businesses. Whereas, you know, businesses, you do, you know, fraternize and, you know, wine and dine staff or just, you know, potential customers. What have you learned along the way with people that, if I myself want to go and have a business meeting with somebody, what have you guys have you had that experience with the opposite sex and, you know, being married as well? How does that work?
Okay.
We have a few more minutes.
Okay, me, I'm a builder, so I just deal with the guys. I just build with it. My guys, so the guys that I deal
so no
with.
females come and buy cement. I'm joking.
Huh?
I'm saying no females come and want to buy cement or want their plastering done.
Oh no. I mean, you have clients who are basically outside, but I tend to deal with like I said, just my builders who are there on site, and yeah, that's it. I don't know if Della can answer a certain way in it, but no, I don't have that kind of interaction, them kind of deals anyway. So I don't know if Della can answer. Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to say it here. You don't want to say it here with him here. So I cut it.
I could see the last facial reaction.
I mean, let me get up, because me, it's just guys though. I just have guys, man. We're building footings and concrete cement structures, superstructures, and I know when we finish at the end of the day, Friday, they'll go out to a restaurant, we go and eat, and then we call it a day, and that's it. So that's come home.
In Ghana, somebody could say, "Oh, I like you. You're nice." Like, I would see it as flirting, because in the UK, if someone say they like me, it's flirting. But in Ghana, they're actually just passing a compliment. Maybe it might extend based on my response to it, but in the UK, I'm like, oh, why are you doing that? Because I'm not often, I don't hear it often. But in Ghana, it's actually them being nice and
that's
they're more
culture.
friendly.
Yeah, that's true. But when you just said it's culture, isn't it? It's just understanding what the culture is, and if you don't understand it, and that's why one thing I love that my auntie said to me: don't try and bring the UK or the Western mentality to Ghana, because if you do that, you end up getting very, very much confused. It's just like, you know, we just sit there, watch it, and engage it from it, because if you're not careful, you take something that was meant to be light-hearted and you take it seriously, you know? Like sometimes when I'm driving and I say it just inside, oh man, that guy's so silly. And if you said that outside to a Ghanaian, the Ghanaian will feel offended of that saying that word silly. You see what I'm saying? So it's just culture, and then trying to understand that synergy, you know? So babes, I mean, I don't know what you think. I mean,
so there's two questions for you. The first question was in terms of social aspects and, you know, how that feels. Does it feel isolating? Obviously during COVID, everyone feels more isolated than usual, but on a normal day when you came, and even maybe not when you came, but now, how have you adjusted the mindset of friendship and just the social scene for you?
I think friendship is quite a difficult one. You know, I did a video on it recently just because I felt like it's something that needed to be addressed, because establishing friendships in Ghana is really, really, really tough, because you have people that have completely different mindsets to you. You know, in the West, when we look for friendships, you never think about someone's financial pocket, or, you know, you're all kind of like the same. Whereas here in Ghana, you can have people that are like different levels, and sometimes it's really difficult to talk. It's really difficult to say without being misunderstood. So it's quite, so just bear with me. Sometimes people look at you more as a wallet rather than you as a person. And it kind of works on both sides. So sometimes, you know, from our side, you'll be like, oh, but what does that person want? You feel a little bit defensive, but also some people are also shy to speak to you because they feel like maybe she's going to think, oh, I'm after something from her. Do you know? So it's quite difficult to kind of integrate. But what I found helpful for me is that to find people that you have things in common with. So at the moment, the YouTube sphere is like a whole nother world. And so it's like, we're kind of all getting to know each other at the moment. So we're kind of like building friendships inside that. And I think if you have something like that, it kind of helps. But a lot of the time for me, what has got me through it is just because I'm just at that stage in my life where I have children and I have a husband. And so I've got so many things going on that I don't really have time to sit down and think, oh, I really want to go out tonight and I haven't got anyone to go with. I'm not kind of at that stage. I'm kind of out of that stage now. So it doesn't affect me as much. So for some people it would. But for me, I don't really have that. It doesn't really affect me in that way. I'm too busy to notice, I guess you could say.
That's good. That's true. Point. And then the second one is, I like the way Kwame puts it, the cultural misconception maybe that people have with the opposite sex and how it can hinder business deals, you know, you think, hey, maybe if I take the deal, he'll think I like him, and then so I won't take the deal. I won't proceed with the offer that could potentially change your business, change your future, kind of thing. So have you experienced that or known people, and what's the advice there?
I haven't really experienced too much of that, but I think if I was faced with anything, like I'll just pretend like I don't know what's going on. Like I just pretend like, oh, I haven't got a clue, kind of, you know, like a bit airhead, sort of like, I don't know what this guy's doing.
Bimbo.
Unless you're gonna, I don't want to say that.
Oh, sorry. But yeah. Oh, give me. Oh, sorry. Forgive me.
Like I'll just kind of pretend like I haven't got a clue what's going on. So unless you're outright bold enough to say something to me, then I would address it. But otherwise, I'll just pretend like I don't know, because I am very much, as you see me on camera, I am outside. So, you know, I like to laugh and joke a lot. But I'm also quite introverted as well. So, you know, it just kind of depends. But I wouldn't let something like that affect me. And I've not really had too many of those experiences. Right. And I think a lot of the time I talk about my children as well. So I'm like, you know, if you're ready to, I'm talking about my 4 children and you're coming to step to me about something else, that it's kind of like, what kind of person are you? Do you know what I mean? I've got 4 children. What do you want from me? You know, you're going to take care of me and my 4 children. It just, you know, so.
God forbid. God forbid.
Mommy, you got assistance now. I'm joking. We're going to draw to a close pretty soon. I've got a few questions from. So how far is the Kaswa land from Accra, to your knowledge?
Okay, when we took the journey with traffic, it took about 2 hours. Or about an hour and a half. No, about an hour and a half, actually. Hour and a half. That's with traffic.
Okay, with traffic.
Yeah, okay. It's about an hour and a half with traffic. But remember, it's one of what people just need to understand is, are you prepared to create a new environment? Because once you create a new environment, they're bound to bring everything else what you need there. You know, and that's the hint. It's that hint. You imagine someone has now said, I bought maybe such and such acres. And then you go out and you present that I want to now build an airport in that area. You don't think that people will end up coming and investing? And that's what it is. Or someone says, I want to build the biggest theme park in Africa here. And that's what it is. And I feel that that's what people just kind of need to look at. Don't look at the distance. Oh, it's far from Accra. But Accra was once a bush, if I can say it that way. It was a bush, it wasn't there. And it took people to put in and change it, and then from their policies came in and laws came in and they put it. So we can do exactly the same wherever we go, anywhere in Ghana, anywhere. They could put you up to the north and you can create an oasis there. And it just depends, like I said, it's the people. So when people ask the distance, I know people might be, hey, 2 hours of what? And it's like, no, but look at beyond the 2 hours or beyond the 1.5 hours. Think about, can I get an airport there? Can I get a hotel there? Can I get this there?
I think as well, when we came to Ghana, like in 2007, at the time we were staying at my auntie's hotel in East Legon.
It wasn't easy.
And trying to go from East Legon to Adenta would take you like 45 minutes.
Yeah, forever.
It
felt forever.
Just because the road was so bad. And so actually now we're like, East Legon to Adenta, it's like 15 minutes.
Correct.
Just because the infrastructure came in, and so it made things easier. So sometimes places seem far because the infrastructure's not there. Actually, they're not as far as what it actually is. It's just how it is perceived.
That's true. That's a very good point.
I remember you're not too far also from West Hills Mall. That's a great landmark. So you can imagine all of that area. Once you pass the Kaswa border or the Kaswa barrier, you got all them environments. So anyway, let's just watch it. That's what I say.
We should bring you both back. One last question, and then another question for me. Someone wrote, you've made several videos lately with Jasmine, Amma, and several other female YouTubers. How is that experience informing your development of new friends? So I think you touched upon that actually.
Yeah, that's a good one.
How's it? What? Sorry, say that again for me.
Let me read it to perfect. How has it informed your development of? Sorry, how has that experience informing your development of new friends?
Okay, if I understand the question properly, so basically, it's quite nice because I'm kind of seeing things from other people's point of view as well. Because obviously, before it was just I didn't really know anybody that well, so I just had like my own thoughts and how I think things should be done or whatever. But now, the more I get to network and speak to these other ladies, I'm kind of seeing their points of where they're coming from. And then I guess in some respects, I'm like, okay, maybe I should be a bit more flexible on this, or maybe I should take it a bit easier with this, or, you know, I'm kind of seeing, I'm definitely seeing a lot more. So it's kind of opening my eyes to things perhaps that maybe I wouldn't have been as open to before. So obviously seeing how they're also integrating kind of encourages me to want to do that as well, and kind of just delve a bit deeper, really. It's kind of helping in that way. So it's quite nice to see. And I think seeing people at the different points in their journey, sometimes I'm like, oh, I remember when we used to do that, or I remember when we used to do that. And it's like, because we've been here probably, Jasmine's been here almost as long as we have, but seeing people's journey and where they're at in their journey, you can kind of see what's going to happen sometimes, you know. So it's interesting to see for sure.
Okay, thanks for that. Last question. I always like to give a shout out to other people here. Who do you, I don't know if you have time to read, because I barely do, or who do you listen to that's Ghanaian, who inspires you that's Ghanaian? Or you can listen to either reading, either watching, either, you know them personally. Who's big in Ghana that you listen to, or who inspires you in Ghana? Don't say your mum and dad.
No, for me, it has to be Wadi Maya, because I mean, I've met him quite a few times now, and for me, his mind is just like,
yeah.
I have not really come across anyone that has been as level-headed as he is.
I call him the Black Zuckerberg.
He's very,
the guy's mind is big, man.
Yeah, he's very, very down to earth, and he's very realistic. And I think because he's also been outside a little bit, so he's got a nice balance of certain things that maybe some other people may not see because they haven't been outside. So for me, he definitely inspires me to like keep pushing at certain things, and you know, especially when he shares his experience of, you know, when things have been hard for him and he's been able to push past. It kind of inspires me, like, okay, I can do this, I can keep going, you know. It just for me, he's very humble, and he definitely inspires me a lot.
Okay, thanks for that. You, Kwame?
For me, I don't know, it's a mix, man. It's a mix of everything, but I how can I say, I don't have a particular person, but I just take bits of people. So like I said, like the bits I would say, like I said, I mean, for me, Wadi Maya is very, very, very positive, down to point. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm just impressed with my wife.
Are you copying me?
No, I know I'm copying. But what can I say? I'm impressed with what Della does, and it's just exposure. It's just trying to just show the narrative of how Africa can be, and what we're trying to inspire, really. But I'm not really on the YouTube front. I'm just more on the ground. So if I tell you someone, you may not even know them. So
that makes sense. That's true.
That's so it's not. You know. But I do like a lot of positive mental. How can I say? Positive mental inspirers or motivators, who like to just motivate, say, look, you can achieve something, you can do it. So if we're talking about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, you know, these are the things, Kwame Nkrumah, you know, so it's a different style of what I'm trying to say. So my mindset is just more of, this liberation and getting a fair share on the table, you know. So that's my thoughts and stuff, so.
Thank you both so much. And we've gone 9 minutes over our time, but it's been very informative having you both on there. I think you both should change your channel name.
No. You know.
No, he's not.
Can I say something?
He let it push me off.
They do that to lower the bar.
Like this.
They lower our bars.
Do you know what it is? Can I say what I believe? I just believe that I know people might want to take it or leave it inside of it, but I feel that there is an age now for women to take their place, and that's what I feel. And I feel that sometimes men don't really need to be in the limelight as such as moment. You know, let them do their thing, but let the women also have their place. And that's what I feel. That's why I don't tend to, like, you see, you people wondering, how come Della does building and the guy, your husband said, no, it's because I want her to do it and let her understand it and let my children also understand that, you know what, we've got an equal share on this playing field. It doesn't have to be about male and female. This is your position. This is your place. I never believe in that, you know. So that's my take on it anyway. So that's it.
That's a good take. Well, to each his own as well. Let me not look like we're sowing seeds for people. But no, thank you so much. It's very good, very good, very good. But we will do they have their own YouTube channel that Kwami's put the link into. So do subscribe and share anything that you find interesting, and just support as well. Just hit the subscribe button somewhere.
Yeah. So guys, I really want to say, look, I'm really encouraged. I mean, what you guys are doing is a fantastic thing. And I feel that there is a generation for young people to do something. We need to come back. We need to step something because, our parents were there and they were misinformed. We are fully informed now. And I feel that it's time for us to. So Kwame, hats off to you. And I believe that what you guys are doing, and yourself, madam, hats off to you as well. And guys, just keep it up, because we're bound to get to the end of the destination. So keep it
together,
up,
as you say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
And we'll bring this to a close, and we'll be in touch as well with regards to our little community in Kaswa. Okay,
fantastic.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye.